think about that and I miss it. And I'm like, we've got to get back to that as a family, and bring tradition back. We've gotten so far away from family traditions and wholesomeness and fun, and now it's all about what are you gonna get for Christmas. So speaking of what are you gonna get for Christmas, there for a long time I would, and I think I've told you this before, I would buy Christmas gifts that were for the entire family. I wouldn't get a whole lot of little bitty stuff for individuals because number one, I was a single parent and I had 4 children. My ex-husband and I were not together. We'd separated and divorced, and he did his thing, but I took care of everything else. And so what would happen is, I'd work really hard and I would save up a long time, and I would try to buy something that we all could enjoy, that because a lot of times you get toys and video games now. Back then, there wasn't a whole lot of video games except Atari. But you would get these things and they would play with them for a while and then they'd get tossed. Well, I started this tradition where I would buy one gift that was for everybody, and then I would ask the kids if they had something special that they wanted individually, and I'd try to get that one gift for them, and then everything else was clothes, because of course, they had to have clothes to go back to school, and what would happen is they would have their school clothes and their play clothes. Does anybody else remember that? Because when I grew up, we had school clothes and we had play clothes, and you didn't mix the two. When you went to school, you had the nicer clothes that you would wear, the nicer shoes. And when you came home, the minute you walked in that door, you went straight to your room and you changed your clothes, because you could play in those old dirty tennis shoes and those old blue jeans that had the holes in them that were falling apart, and get them all dirtied up, muddied. Nobody cared. Just don't go outside with them school shoes and them play shoes. Those school shoes and school clothes on. So the kids, that's what they would do. They would have their school clothes and they had their play clothes. And so that's what I would do. When they came home, they changed, and then they could go put their play clothes on and, enjoy themselves. Well, because I didn't have a whole lot of money, I couldn't afford to keep buying new school clothes. So fast forward, now I'm in a little bit better position, but still, this year, which I went shopping yesterday and I went shopping today, and of course my kids are grown, so they only get certain things for Christmas. They don't get like what they used to. Of course, they're grown. And I have 9 grandbabies. I have 2 15-year-olds, a 14-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 8-year-old, a 15-month-old, a 16-month-old, and my forever baby who is, and a 3-year-old, and my forever baby who is my little angel, who's forever 3 months old. So, out of 9 grandbabies, I have to budget. Talk about budgeting. I have to budget. So what I do is I save all year and I allot roughly about $100 per child. And depending on how much I've been able to save, sometimes I can spend a little bit more than $100, usually no more than $150, but at least $100 a child. And so what I do is I go and buy their clothes. Like this year, I bought clothes. All the kids got clothes except for the older ones, my 3 teenagers. those girls, they're into makeup and perfume and all the smelly good stuff. And of course, they're teenagers and they're in high school and they have to be cute and all that good stuff. So I don't buy clothes for them. Let me tell you, I tried it. And of course, every time I tried to buy clothes for them, I got it too big or too small, or they just didn't like it. So I quit. So now they get the money and we call it a day. Now, one thing I have started doing, and I've been doing this for a few years. I can't even remember when it started. But I buy a blanket for everybody every year. Now, I used to make Christmas gifts for everybody. I would do things like brownies, or I would bake cakes, and I was really, really good at making these pound cakes. I'm a baker. I love to bake. And so I would make these pound cakes, and I'd make all different flavors and give them out for Christmas presents to my immediate family, like my sisters and maybe some friends at church, but mostly my sisters and my brothers. I would bake cakes and give to them, or brownies, or whatever it was I thought they'd like, and put it in a tin, or wrap it up in some, put some plastic over it and wrap it up in some foil paper, that kind of thing, make it look pretty. And that's what they got for Christmas. But we've gotten away from that, and I don't do it like I used to. In fact, I haven't done it at all in the last few years. I've maintained the blanket tradition. Every year, everybody gets a blanket or a throw. But I haven't done the homemade gifts. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have the money to go shopping. Or they just don't, and they make things, and a lot of people are really crafty. And I don't know about you guys, but as I've told you before, I'm a big TikTok viewer, and I see some of the neatest ideas on TikTok about the different crafts and how to make all these beautiful things out of nothing, basically. A piece of paper and a shoestring, and they come out with these beautiful ideas. Now, of course, I'm exaggerating, but I mean, it's basically stuff that you may even have at home that they use to make these beautiful arrangements and ornaments and little knick-knack ideas that they come up with. So I have challenged myself to do this going forward. Now, will I continue to buy things? Yes, but I'm putting myself on a strict budget. And you might ask me why. Why are you putting yourself on a strict budget, Q? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, I've decided within this year coming up in 2022, I am going to be buying some land and buying a house, or putting a house on it. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to make some changes. And some of those changes are going to be to limit my spending. And so I've decreed it, I've declared it, and so it shall be. And so that being said, it was about, part of it was about getting myself out of this buy, spend kind of rat race that we've created with the month of December in buying gifts for everybody. And the other part was to get back to some traditional things that we used to do, like, the kids making these pictures and treasuring those small things, because we don't do it anymore. The kids used to draw these beautiful pictures, and I kept them for so long until they fussed at me for keeping so much because, I've still got some in my filing cabinet, believe it or not, but we'll keep that a secret. It's just between us. But I would keep all of their school papers, and because I just thought they were so pretty. They were so cute. These kids were drawing these cute little pictures, and sometimes they were stick figures, and sometimes they made them very elaborate. And I just kept everything. And of course, you can't keep everything, but I had a hard time letting it go. So anyway, I think we're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to some traditional things. And I hope that I've inspired you to do the same. I hope that you've got something out of this segment. We've kind of gone through a little bit of everything. If you're a December baby, I wish you the most wonderful birthday. I hope you're enjoying it, or you have enjoyed it, or you're going to enjoy it. As for myself, I appreciate that you are listening. I appreciate that you have decided to join me. I hope you are just going to have this most wonderful evening, this wonderful day. Wherever you are in the world, just remember, God loves you, I love you, and keep looking up. This has been QD's Talk Time. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye-bye.